Internet auctions have opened doors for buyers and sellers to connect with people all over the world. There's no need to travel to a store, but you may still have to do some legwork to get the best prices for products. Shelley Ortner, owner of one of the many snappy auctions, is here with advice for both the new user and the veteran. Welcome, Shelley. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, talk to me a little bit. What is a good item to sell online?
Well, generally the rule of thumb would be something that you can easily and less expensively ship.
Oh, okay.
So when you figure you're sending it anywhere in over the United States or into international
The
areas.
first thing that you want to consider is your shipping fees.
Exactly.
So don't sell your Aunt Frida's grand piano. It's
Well,
probably not going to do well online if you have to ship it
Right.
far.
Well, generally anything is selling these days as long as you stay within the guidelines of that online auction. There are certain guidelines and prohibitions that you need to be aware of before you sell.
All right. What are good things to buy online?
The same thing. You can buy just about anything on online auctions today, but you want to, again, make sure that you're aware of what your shipping costs are going to be when it comes ahead of time, and be aware of things that might be breakable. Make sure that they're packed well. But pretty much anything.
So what would be some examples? Good things, hot items to buy online right now?
Well, electronics is really good. You can get some really good deals with electronics. Designer clothing is really good.
Really?
A great thing to buy.
So
absolutely.
gently used clothing or something
Exactly.
like that. And then you said electronics. Anything specific? Cameras or
Cameras, iPods, Xboxes, they all seem to do very well. And then also that's a great market for anything that's discontinued or rare that you can't find in stores.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So if I'm selling, I've decided I've got an item to sell. It looks like it's a good item to sell. What are my steps before I just put it up there? What should I do? How do I start?
Well, the first thing you'd want to do is have an account with one of the more popular online auction houses like eBay or Yahoo.
Now, why with them? Is there some kind of preference? Is that better?
It's generally the auctions that most people will be purchasing from. So you want to be in the market that
So
everybody's
just a
buying
wider
from.
audience,
Right,
but depending
right.
on what your item is, you might find other venues. Okay, all right.
Exactly. And you want to be aware of, you want to be very knowledgeable about your item, you want to represent it well, you want to take great photographs of it, and you want to make sure you point out any flaws that are on the item because you don't want an unhappy buyer sending it back to you. So you make sure you disclose anything that's wrong with it as well as all the great things about it.
Okay, is this all part of joining it now? Or you're going to join it? Is it complicated to join up with one of those?
No, it's
online
very
auctions?
easy. It's just some information that you would type in and register your
a couple of
information.
minutes?
Right, your account
All right,
information.
and then I want to make sure that I know my product,
Right.
know that if it has any problems, idiosyncrasies, damages, whatever, be able to
Right.
describe it clearly and take a picture, like a digital picture.
Exactly.
So I can put that up online too.
Right.
Now,
And the more
how
pictures,
about-
the better.
Yeah, how about what if I don't have a digital camera? Will it sell if it doesn't have a picture, or do you really
It
recommend?
won't sell as well. I mean, look at it from a buyer's point
borrow
of view.
a friend's
Right.
camera.
Exactly.
The buyers like to see the picture
Sure.
of the item. Okay. All right, so we know what category it sits in. We know how we're going to present it in terms of the pictures and your description and everything like that. What's the best time to sell an item?
Well, the best time to sell, again, you'd have to know your audience and you have to know your customer. So you may be selling, if you're selling a wonderful little old-fashioned Hummel figurine, you want to market it to the correct people. We generally sell our items so that they will end in the evening when everybody's home from work. Everybody's looking at the computer at that time. So we want to make sure
So
that...
that's when the auction will end.
Right.
The item gets auctioned off for, what, a certain number of days? Or?
Yes, it goes for anywhere from 3 to 10 days.
Okay.
And you want to make sure it ends at a time because the highest bidder at the end of that auction will be the winner. So you want to make sure it ends at a time when the person you're marketing it to will be able to be at a computer to watch for it.
Give me an example. So,
Well, let's say, for instance, you're selling a laptop computer. You may be marketing that to a businessman who is checking the computer and checking the auction during his workday. Then you might be selling something to an elderly person who may be sitting at a Saturday afternoon looking at the computer.
okay, so that's what you mean by make sure that you understand your audience, because it might be
Right.
different for a mom at home who's maybe looking
Exactly.
to sell baby clothes.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right, well, good. So what if I want to buy on the internet, on an online auction?
Well, there's a lot of great deals out there right now, and internet auctioning is like the largest yard sale in the world. So you
Oh,
want,
I like that.
yeah. So you want to make sure that you can know when the deals are. You can buy things out of season. You can buy a fur coat in the spring, and it would be much cheaper than if you bought it in February. Those are the times when you can get the best deals.
But I guess that's what's so wonderful about it, because as opposed to a department store, maybe a big chain store, you're not going to find a coat for sale in July to be able to get for even that price. Whereas online, you could find it when you need it, when you want it, and depending on when that is, you could really make out.
Right, and you can comparison shop. There's a lot of competition out there, so you can look to see who has the better shipping prices to send it to you, who offers refunds and guarantees.
Yeah, you mentioned that comparison shop. So let's say I'm buying or I'm selling. If I've got a watch or maybe a designer dress or something like that that I'm looking, is it a good idea for me to go and do searches about similarly sold items? Will that give me a good starting point, reference point for how I should expect it to do?
Absolutely. You want to check and see what similar items have sold for. And you can actually go into a database that will help you see what items that have already been sold have sold for, so that you know that you're not overpaying, or if you're selling the item, that you're not overcharging for the same item.
Oh, and can I find that on one of the big online auction websites?
Yes, you can.
They have those
Right.
databases?
As long as you're a member and you've registered, you can find that information. It keeps track of usually the last 2 weeks of sales.
Okay. Have a protocol. Is it okay for me? I see something online. I'd like to buy it, but I would like to get to know the seller better. You know, it's that strange, faceless, nameless person out there that you kind of get to know. Is it okay to drop them an email?
Absolutely. That's a very smart thing to do. Whenever you're buying, you want to check the feedback rating of the person you're buying from, because
now, a feedback rating, that's something that the online stores do for you. They kind of track.
Anyone who buys from you will leave a feedback, whether it's good or bad, based on their experience with you. So if you have a track record, or if you're purchasing from someone who has a track record of not following through on their promises, they're going to have a bad feedback, and you certainly don't want to buy.
No. Now, what if I am completely computer illiterate? Like, this all sounds really great. I've got the items that I want to sell. Online sounds good, but I really don't. I don't have a computer, or I don't want to be hassled with worrying about it.
Right.
What are my options?
Well, first of all, you bring it to a place like us. We are an eBay consignment store, internet auction consignment store, and people bring in their items to us, and we take care of it from beginning to end. They drop it off with us. We take pictures, write the descriptions, ship it, handle the payment, and we do it all in a very safe way.
Now, you're a physical store that you actually have the item there?
Yes.
To ship it out. But if I was going to purchase the item, would I come to your store?
No, we do
and browse?
just sales.
No, you keep it in a warehouse, right? And then you sell it, so you can still access it through online.
Absolutely. You can still buy from us if you go through the normal channels of going online and buying it from that internet auction.
Great, but that is a great option for people who you don't want to get involved with eBay. That really gives you another option.
It really does, and we tend to get a little more for our items than the general person selling it out of their house, because we are a safe entity.
And experienced, I
Right.
guess. Well, good. Then that gives us a little bit of incentive there. I'm going to look at the online auctions. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you very much for having me.